The landscapes of our lives are for learning, where experience is our teacher. When we gather together to share our resources, we are destined to love and thrive. Good morning, Pierre.
Good morning, Maureen. Your good mornings are so, I don't know. I don't know.
Your
It's a
market said
little,
go.
well, I was going to say it's like having tea or another podcast. I don't know. It's just yeah. Anyway, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It is a good morning.
We were kind of talking about play and simplicity of some of the subjects that we touch on, the mind body connection, spirit, and
Weren't we talking about okay, we're talking about all these resources and some of these concepts about mind and body and spirit, and so and the irony of just doing the work, right?
irony. That is
Yeah.
that is the great word. It just covers the whole thing. The irony is, I spent decades in the self-help section of these bookstores.
Literally decades. Me too.
Decades, right?
Yeah.
And you would think somewhere in there, at some time, I would question whether this is where I really should be. And as it's like one of the things that's been helping me a lot is grounding, and to be very specific, if my mind is rolling off thoughts, I use it as a trigger to say, where is my body and what's my body touching? So are my
Great
feet
strategy.
touching the ground or in my shoes? And I feel something, some point of connection. So instead of mind, ask, because right now I'm sitting down and I can feel that. And that's grounding. For years, people have said, oh, breathe, meditate, do all these things. But in a certain way, it triggers my brain to be doing something and monitoring it. Whereas actually feeling it's not very mental. I mean, my ass is my ass, my feet are my feet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think someone said to me, a guy in AA said, simple is spiritual. And I love that because I think it's true. And
Nice.
so I love it's not just another technique, but I love the fact that you're talking about how, when the mind's bonkers, which for most people, I think a lot of people that resonates with. I know it does with me. I know lots of people who their minds literally drive them crazy. I think that's part of the human experience, maybe more intense for some and less so for others. But that resonates with me, and the fact that you've kind of found this little strategy.
It's a hack,
Right,
it's a
it is.
crutch.
It's just
Yeah.
saying, okay, when I notice my mind is nuts, think ass, or where ass on the chair. Tim Ferriss said this long time ago, get out of your mind and get into your body. I remember one of the very first podcasts, this is years ago. And I remember him kind of being quoted about that. It's to get out of your mind is get into your body it's a great hack. It's a great biohack. I hate that word. I hate hack, but in this
I
case,
don't, because I've lived my life with crutches, and the way I look at crutches, at first I didn't like it, just like the hack word, but the fact of the matter is, if you can't walk and you've got a crutch, you start using it and you're walking, you're not in a wheelchair. And for instance, I'll just give you
good analogy.
A very simple thing. When I was a little kid, I would lose things like pens or something like that. So a crutch was, okay, I'm losing these pens because I really don't care about them, I guess. And I happen to get a nice pen. whoa, I didn't lose that pen. So these crutches, I recognized fairly early, create habits, and then habits become lifestyle. And sometimes you just need a little help walking to where you're going. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
mind it.
And then I'm thinking the movement, you made yourself mobile, like, and that is like action. What do they say? Action comes before habits. Like just if you can get yourself mobile and moving forward, like then, change will follow instead of,
Right.
oh, I got to get ready to like do this protocol and use this tool. And then the change will happen. It's just like move and then it will kind of follow.
It does. You and I are both teachers in our life, and I know in teaching, I look at students and you can say the same thing, and for one student, it'll be an aha moment, and the other student doesn't get it. So you have to find all these different ways of saying it. And one of the things that I wanted to say in this podcast is over the years of self-help and discovery around um, these concepts of being and unity and yoga and things like that, one of the most helpful hacks or insights into this is um, is just feeling the body where it is and empowering the body. So starting my day with yoga empowers my body. If I'm, these words are hard because they're thrown out all the time. If I'm not present or I'm a little bit too much in my mind, I try to find what part of my body is touching something or what part of my body I'm feeling. And it kind of sparks the body part of this unity, which is so out of balance. If I could just drone on here for a little bit, but I wanted to say our culture is so mind centric
Disembodied.
and disembodied, and so when I say, oh, I'm not totally present, I mean to everybody around, and even to my usual self, I'm present. I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I'm doing my job, I'm cleaning, or whatever I'm doing, I'm present. I'm not distracted in that sense. But there is a deeper sense of presence that unifies the body and the mind, and it brings a gratitude and just a feeling of being there now. I think you said, it's a it's a strange, beautiful, joyful thing, but the mind has a difficult time being joyful, at least my experience, without drugs. Essentially, I don't mean that like stimulants. I just mean it in the term chemical stimulants. Well, I do mean that. I mean stimulants. I mean chemical stimulants. That the mind has difficulty being joyful without the new thing, the new car, pair of pants, whatever. And the body actually can be happy just without new pants, without new car. It's a strange thing.
Yeah. I don't have any comments about that. Well,
Whoa,
I
whoa,
don't,
wait.
I don't, I'm
Mic
not sure.
drop here. Mic drop, folks.
I'm not sure I understand, to be honest with you. Because you just separated the mind from the body. So I'm a little confused as far as like the mind has chemicals. What I'm thinking dopamine when you're saying like getting the next new thing and that's
No,
stimulating
that's right. No, the
chemistry of
mind.
the brain, but that's also in your body. So to me, but I think I know what you mean about the body, it like your flesh, your bones, and your actual body does not need new pants on it to be what it is in the moment. Maybe, is that what you meant? Kind of like it doesn't need, it's not, it knows in other ways, I suppose, than what we
We'll
think of
take,
as thinking.
yeah,
Now we're getting into the weeds, Pierre. I don't know.
well, we'll come up out of the weeds because, it's a short podcast meant to cut through the weeds of all these resources, all these people
Right.
saying how to do things and whatnot. And I just wanted to offer up that the simplest connections to empower the body, just getting out there and lifting weights, just doing yoga, just asking yourself what part of your body is touching something
Mhm.
and what you're feeling.
Mhm.
I don't mean that in the
Being
deep.
embodied, and what you said earlier is like every single person is different. So the key to unlock things for you, as you were saying earlier before we were recording, is different. Every student has, some different way. And it's funny, I was just talking to somebody about this, like, oh, maybe one of the clinical interns I work with. I was like, you can't just like tell everybody, oh, close your eyes and exhale or breathe deeply, like as that's the way to calm all clients. That may not work for somebody. That could completely be the opposite. But I think the point you made was that you spent a lot of time trying to find, these little hacks and so forth. And it actually was just literally like, oh, for you, it turned out to be, when my mind's crazy, think about my butt on the chair, like feel my body. And it can be that simple, but people have to find
Might
their own
not,
way. They have to
yeah,
find their own
might
way.
not work for everybody, but I know how to breathe. I have breathing practices. People told me to breathe and in the moment, and all those things work. But
But
for
you
me,
found your own thing in your own, outside the bookstore. Like you found your own thing in your own
right.
experience. You didn't have to read anything. You didn't have to
No,
learn
that's right.
anything.
We were joking, and I don't know if this was part of the recording before or what, talking in between, but spending time in these self-help sections of bookstores, you would think after some decades of doing this that a light bulb would go off, that I'm still there looking for something.
Mhm.
And if I reviewed my life, where is it that I feel and find myself closest to these feelings of, balance and everything? And for me, being a bit of an athlete, it's in sports and
It's in your
racket
own
sports and
experience.
tennis and skating and bicycling and all these different things. So yeah, you can really spend some time trying to figure it out with yourself. And
Well, and back to my website that you mentioned, it's your resources. Know thyself. Like that's the whole first part I put, I think on my menus, I made like inner resources and external resources, like inner landscape and external. Like external is the bookstore and great, and other people and other podcasts and all the resources we're talking about. But the primacy is, it's right under your note. You have your own resources. You have your own capacity.
well,
It's
and the
you.
workout, and
Like
I
read
love
the book of you. Read the book of
yeah,
you. Work out within.
yeah, I love the connection to know thyself and work out within, and the whole, little Lego man working out within. That should point somebody in the right direction. And I
Yeah.
just, another thing about the Sadhguru thing, and I can't believe how much he's come up. But he's like, I didn't go to school. I mean, if I was in school, I didn't listen. I just questioned everything and just started
Learn from
paying
his own direct
attention.
experience and his own experience of being him. Like
Right,
in the moment.
right.
I feel like that's what you were talking about. And you said when I was playing tennis, in your happy place within playing games and being an athlete, and I was too. And we talked about the similarity of, playing tennis and the mind's busy with just, oh, you hit the ball, you run, like it frees you to be entirely in your body and breathing heavy. And that's where you find that connection, you were saying, like,
Right.
that's truly me, like right there in those moments,
Right.
in my embodied being. So
Right. We had a
cool.
yoga teacher, and he said, my mind, your body. And, basically the yoga was the same every day, and you didn't have to think about it. And the parallel is with sports. The rules are the same. Your mind is distracted to the rules, and your body gets to perform. And it's very freeing
Yeah.
to bound the mind. So anyway, so
Yeah.
that's kind of this morning's life hack. If you're thinking, pay more attention to your ass, or if you're sitting, or if you're standing, your feet, they're a lot smarter. Your ass is a lot smarter than you think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would encourage people to think about if it's tennis for Pierre, where he finds that, real true embodiment. And maybe, for me, it's now been lifting super heavy weights over my head. In the various moments that people are themselves and fully embodied, like, I wonder what it is for everybody out there. It's got, it's like you can find it in your own experience, like the truth of your embodied being, right? In those places, whatever they are for people.
Yeah. That's really cool. Great question for folks. Well, this is Pierre from Yoga Heals, and peace through grace, my friends. Peace through grace.
And Maureen, Landscapes for Learning. Learn to live and then live to learn.
Awesome.
Peace
Boom.
out.